here, but yeah. So dumb.
Hey, what's up, phone lovers? Welcome to the Mobile Roar podcast for the week of December 19th, 2014. I'm Joe Fiwa.
I am Christopher Chavez.
And I am Kevin Kraus coming to you in virtual reality.
Kevin's on the grid right now.
I'm locked into the Matrix.
So awesome.
Jeff Bridges is talking in his ear right now.
I gotta take these things off.
If you're listening to the audio version, Kevin is wearing the Samsung Gear VR and looking very fashionable in it.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
Such a fashion statement. Just go
Virtual-
out in public with that.
Virtual reality is wearing like a trench coat and sunglasses, just like Neo.
So we got to talk about this thing. Kevin got it earlier this week. He's been
Yeah.
playing with it all week, and I think he likes it.
Well, so I got this, and I don't know if you watch the unboxing that I did on Fandroid, which whatever. We don't really see too many virtual reality goggles, so normally not one to unbox, but whatever. I didn't really know much about this thing, honestly. I saw they announced it, and I'm sure we've talked about it on this podcast before that I was immediately skeptical of it and thought it was pretty dumb and whatever. So, but I gotta say, put these things on my head and I was blown away. I mean, I don't like. If you listen to the podcast or if you're familiar with me at all, you know I'm kind of jaded, and it takes a lot to impress me with tech. You know, every smartphone I'm just like, it's another smartphone. But this thing, I put it on my face, and I was sitting in my living room just by myself on this thing, and I was like audibly gasping and like, oh my god, like I was very, very blown away by this. There's definitely issues. It's still got a long way to go, but it is pretty cool that you can get. It's kind of not true to say you can get this virtual reality experience for only $200. The headset itself is like $200, but of course you have to have a Galaxy Note 4, which is a whole other thing. I was even more impressed that Samsung made this because I've pretty much written Samsung off. But yeah, so I got that this week. It's the Innovator Edition. I'm not really quite sure what's the difference between the Innovator Edition. I guess it's just for early adopters. They launched it, I guess, kind of like the Google Glass Explorer thing. They launched the Innovator Edition along with the mobile SDK, so the ecosystem isn't completely built out. There aren't a ton of apps for it, but it's pretty much the skeleton of what you get. There's a lot of really cool video and game demos in there, and now the developers can start to build stuff for it. So it's pretty sweet. I've really been enjoying checking it out. Never really did the whole Oculus Rift virtual reality thing before, but I can definitely see that there's some promise in it. Very cool.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that's your first experience with VR, right?
I mean, I've done at CES or whatever, put on a VR headset for like a few seconds and like saw what it was all about. But this is the first time that I've really been able to sit there for an extended period of time and experience just sort of what it has to offer. And it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of limited right now, but it's still pretty impressive what they've been able to pull off.
Yeah, so like I don't know a lot about it either. What have you actually done with it? What do you do with it?
Okay, so there's I guess I would say there's three main modes to it. There's what's called Oculus Cinema, which is just a cinema. It puts you in a virtual movie theater. So this is a pretty typical VR experience. If you have a 2D or a 3D movie, you can load it onto Oculus and you can watch it in this virtual cinema. So while the actual video itself, in the case of a 2D movie, is on a 2D plane, it's as if it's projected in a real 3D environment. So there's different cinemas. There's actually like a movie theater. So if you look to your left and your right, you see movie theater seats, and then there's like a movie screen in front of you. You can do a home theater mode where it's like you're sitting on your virtual reality couch. There's one that's kind of goofy, but for fun. There's one that's on the moon. So like you look around and you're on the surface of the moon, but there's a movie projector. And then there's just what they call the void, which is just there is no 3D environment. It's still like a 3D projection, which is cool. I was kind of skeptical of it at first, but it actually makes sense because if you just had the whole video, a 2D video, just up on your eyes, it would be kind of irritating. But in this case, it's actually like you're in a theater, because when you're at a movie theater and there's this giant IMAX-sized display in front of you, this giant screen, you can kind of look around at different parts of the screen, and so you have that same experience when you're in this Oculus Cinema mode. You can kind of look around at different parts of the picture, and so I think that's pretty cool. But it's also really cool if you can load in stereoscopic 3D video, and that works really well. So the other video type mode is what's called 360 video, which is more of the standard virtual reality experience, which would be when you have filmed something with a 360-degree camera. So now you're in this experience where you can look around the whole video. So you have stuff going on in front of you, beside you, behind you.
So amazing.
So one of the demos that comes with it is pretty cool. It's a Cirque du Soleil performance, and it's these two guys come out and they go up on this wire up into the air, so you have to like actually look up to see them. But if you look to your left and your right, there's other actors that are like doing stuff all around you. So it's really cool. You can look behind you and see like the empty theater behind you. There's one thing where you're inside a waterfall, like looking out of the waterfall and looking around. Very cool stuff, like virtual tour type stuff. Actually, just when you first put it on for the first time and load it up, they do a whole little demo reel where they cut through a lot of the different things that are offered, and it's cool. You start off in space and you're looking around at the world. It's just all pretty sweet. And then I guess the other thing that people will use this for is gaming. And I haven't really played too many of the games, but I tried out a couple of the games there. The cool thing now with this Innovator Edition is everything that's in this Oculus store is pretty much free, so you can try out whatever you want. Right now, I don't know if there's any paid stuff yet, but it seems like most of it's free, so a lot of free games and stuff. I haven't really delved too much into the games, mostly just because there's probably two issues I have with it is, even though the Note 4, which you're using, has this nice high-res display, you wouldn't even have to be Chris Chavez to see the pixels. I mean, the pixels are, because it's this close to your face, and then the little eyeball things are already magnifying the picture even more, so you can definitely see the pixels. So even if it's a super high def video, it still looks pixelated. And then I don't know if it's because I wear glasses or if it's just because of the technology in general, but it is kind of blurry at times. You can adjust the focus by moving the actual phone further or closer to your face, but that doesn't seem to solve the issue for me. So it's still a little blurry. I don't know if I could wear it for like 2 hours to watch a movie, because I played with it for 30 minutes and started to get a little bit of a headache. But it was very cool.
Yeah,
you know.
That's what I wonder about those things, getting headaches and stuff, looking at it too long.
Yeah, it definitely, not like a full-on like killer headache, but I definitely started to feel some strain and sort of like fatigue from using it.
It's just so amazing. I'm actually kind of jealous.
But it's sweet. I mean, if you have a Note 4, it's worth picking up. I don't know if it's something you would run out and buy a Note 4 to get. Although I did, at least in the sense of other handsets, apparently I was reading around some of the forums, and people have got it to work with other Android smartphones, but it's more or less than just a very expensive version of Google Cardboard, because it doesn't actually link into the actual Oculus software that's on the Note.
I kind of wanted to make one of those Google Cardboard things, because I think they have the plans where you could just make it with cardboard, whatever you have. And I have an Nexus 5, so I'd kind of be interested to try that out, but I'm sure the Gear VR is way, way superior to that.
Well, now my interest is piqued. Like I think I'm going to try out something similar to Google Cardboard, just so I have the point of comparison, because a lot of people are asking how is this different than Google Cardboard, or how is it better, or what are the pros and cons versus just spending whatever $20, or I don't even know how does Google Cardboard even cost. How much is that? Like, can't be.
I think it's like $25 or something.
So Google Cardboard?
If you buy it,
Oh, I swear, I just saw it was like $3 the other day.
Really? Well, either way, I got to try it out so I can get a valid point of comparison. And I haven't tried out like the actual computer-based Oculus Rift system, so I'm not sure how it really stacks up against that.
Yeah.
I've heard people describe the Gear as, a very lightweight VR experience, which makes sense. I mean, it's a mobile thing you can kind of carry around with you, but it's cool. I mean, it really, it comes with a nice little carrying case and everything, so you could theoretically put it on while you're on the plane and just like face out with your virtual reality.
Pretend you're in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Or on like the subway, just be like, yep, I'm in my movie theater here, guys.
You would look like a complete. Yeah.
I wouldn't be
the weirdest person there, but
I don't know if I would want to wear it on a subway though, because you probably get mugged.
That's not smart. I'm like,
don't wear it in the subway at night in Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
There's a few things about the actual build that are a little bit goofy. It has a built-in touchpad on the side, which is the main way you interact. I guess it's very similar to how you interact with Google Glass, with like a little bit of swipes and taps type stuff. But it's kind of hypersensitive. So you can like when you're going to swipe it a lot of times registers it as a tap before you swipe. So that's kind of an issue with it. I also don't even know why they have this black plastic piece that covers the phone because it doesn't really do anything at all. So there's just a couple weird things about it, but I do actually, yeah, I'm impressed with it. I like it a lot. It's cool.
Oh
Well, I
wow!
have to say, the fact that you're impressed with it is making me think twice about it.
Maybe I'm just
Because you are very jaded.
maybe I'm like geeking out about this thing. I'm sure there are people out there that are like, the Gear VR sucks, man. This isn't even good VR. I can't believe you like this so much. But
I mean, it's powered by Oculus and stuff, so I mean, it's getting the job done. It's actually pretty darn cool. Like, I don't know. I think it's freaking awesome.
It's not like it's virtual reality. This is Oculus.
which is cool. That's the other thing that's really really nice about it is that all the software, it's like Oculus Cinema, Oculus 360 Video. It's not like Samsung Cinema. So like Samsung really hasn't overly branded like the apps and content.
Surprisingly.
So you can't wait for that 3D TouchWiz experience.
Because Oculus has a whole mobile platform they're rolling out, so theoretically there should be other devices with this Oculus technology coming out. I mean, there's obviously certain issues with it. I mean, the headaches, the longevity, actually being comfortable using it on your head for an extended period of time is one thing. It's sort of a novelty at this point. Again, I'd like to see where they go with the apps and services. It's kind of a shortcoming to me that you can only use it in Oculus mode, so there's like no way, and I guess it makes sense with how it's built, but there's really no way to like say you wanted to just watch a Netflix video in that cinema mode, you couldn't do it. Not yet anyway. I think Netflix would have to specifically code their app to be compatible. But you can load in your own content using an SD card on your phone. But the other big thing that I think would be a hindrance for virtual reality is it's such a singular experience. There's no real way, like, you couldn't sit down and watch a movie with a couple of your friends. I mean, I guess you all could put your headset on and press play at the same time, but it's
make love in virtual reality.
So in that sense, it's kind of freaky because you're like, you're watching this movie and you look to your left like this, you want to see like the person next to you, and then it's like, oh, you're in this empty movie theater. It's kind of creepy. But
okay, so this is
all alone.
This is kind of interesting. So Google's Cardboard site, before, like at Google I/O, they gave the cardboards away to everyone that was there, and everyone thought it was really stupid at first. Like, what is this? Like a cardboard virtual reality thing? But it turned out that it was kind of cool. But on Google's site now, there's a bunch of like manufacturers that make the cardboard, and they link to all of them. And there's one that's made out of like foam. There's one that's made out of looks like it has little wood pieces on it and stuff. I mean, this is kind of crazy. But like even the cheapest cardboard one is about $25. So not too bad.
Well, I wrote a while ago on Fandraid. I can't remember the car company, but a car company was using a version of Google Cardboard, and you could request it, and then you would load up their app, and it would give you the virtual reality of like being inside of their new car. So you
that
could
is so tight.
that's cool.
That is so tight.
As long as it's a car company not asking you to drive around with that on your face because you're in such an accident.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the cardboard ones would be very uncomfortable. I mean, like the little jointed in the side, like the sharp edges in the side of your face.
Well, it's like Kevin said, even with the Gear VR, I mean, it's not something I would wear for a long time.
Yeah, One thing I would really like to see them do, which I think would be really cool, is if they could somehow incorporate the phone's rear camera to like integrate virtual reality into like your real environment and do that kind of thing. Like we've seen some of those, I guess, phone VR experiences. Those aren't really that popular anymore, but there used to be like the apps where you would hold it in front of a store and it would like tell you like the Yelp reviews and stuff.
Augmented reality stuff.
Augmented reality stuff, yeah.
Well, on the Google Cardboard ones, they have the cutout for the camera, so the camera does look out. So I'm guessing they'll probably implement that soon. I think there might even actually be apps that do that, like Street View or something. I can't remember what, but it's weird that Samsung just has it like completely covered. I don't know why they would do that. It's odd, but super cool.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the
Actually,
Innovator Edition's out.
excited. Like it's finally happened. Like I mean, in the '80s there was all kinds of like VR. Everyone tried to do their take on VR, and it failed miserably because like the technology wasn't really there.
Yeah.
But this is cool because you're moving and you're seeing like your environment. It's
there's still is a long way to go, but
definitely, yeah.
But what I haven't had a chance to yet, but what I'm looking forward to doing is showing it. I might take it over and let my dad try it out and let my girlfriend try it out and see like what other like random people think of the experience.
You should record the reactions. That'd actually be interesting.
Yeah.
Have them hurling, throwing up everywhere. It's cool.
All right. Cool. Let's move on from the Gear VR.
No, never. I love it.
Kevin's just gonna He's gonna be the first ever Samsung Gear VR fanboy. First ever. It always takes one to start a movement, Kevin.
Yeah. I'm single-handedly.
All right, so this is probably going to be our last episode of 2014. We won't be doing a podcast next week for Christmas, and not sure about the week of New Year's. So I thought it would be a good time to run down kind of a top Android stories of 2014. I made a list on Fandroid, but prepared. We can kind of go over our own personal ones. So in my list, I have pretty much all the obvious things: Material Design, OnePlus, Android Wear, the Amazon Fire Phone, Motorola, Nexus 6, Apple Pay, Nokia adopting Android, and then just a bunch of weird Samsung stuff like the Gear VR. But interested to hear from you guys, what were your top Android stories, and since this is just a mobile podcast, top mobile story from 2014.
I mean, I think top mobile headline grabbing type story would be the fact Apple does 2 new iPhones instead of 1 this year, so that's kind of a big deal. Also, the Apple Watch announcement. I think mobile in general and also kind of Android related would be kind of wearables. I don't know if you put Gear VR in the wearables category, but the smartwatches really popped up, and so I think wearables were a really big deal this year. And not saying I'm not looking forward to it, but I am not looking forward to CES and every booth that's going to have their random Android smartwatch.
Right, it's going to be like tablets a couple years ago.
Yeah, instead of tablets, it's going to be all smartwatches and virtual reality, probably cardboard.
And we've seen some really bad tablets, so imagine the bad smartwatches we're going to see.
Oh, yeah, they'll probably have like a smartwatch hall, or they'll have like a whole hall dedicated to wearables.
It'll just be the bands, those life bands and all that stuff. Everyone has one of those.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Kevin. Wearables may be one of the biggest things. And definitely, the 2 iPhones, because, man, I feel like that was rumored for such a long time, and then it actually happened this year.
Yeah, I actually just got my hands on an iPhone 6 Plus, thinking about popping my SIM in there and using it as a daily driver just to see what it's like. But yeah, so the mobile side, I guess on the Android side, Material Design is really big. Lollipop, but I guess that kind of falls under Material Design as a bigger umbrella.
Yeah,
I guess
I think Android 5.0 in general, like with Material Design and all that stuff, is a pretty big story.
When did Google sell Motorola to Lenovo? Did that happen this year, or did it?
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty big story too. Google splitting with Motorola, even though it's not completely done yet, I guess. But
yeah, and Motorola. I mean, we have our Readers' Choice Awards going on right now, so we'll see what readers say about this. But I would say Motorola was the manufacturer of the year. Oh yeah, hands down, they'd get my vote.
Definitely.
They might even be like if this was like comeback player of the year, but that. I don't know. Motorola. I don't know if that would have been this year or last year though, because I think Motorola really kind of came back in 2013 with the first Moto X and Moto G, but this year they really kind of reestablished themselves. So I think Motorola, they get my vote for manufacturer of the year. So I think they've done some really cool things.
All right.
I would agree. I think Motorola is pretty darn awesome. I mean, my heart still lies with HTC, but yeah, Motorola is great. I mean, I was talking about this on Twitter not the other day, but last night was that I think if you look at all the major tech sites and Android enthusiast blogs and all them, everyone pretty much rates the Moto X 2014 as like the top Android phone right now. But if you look at like the comment section and just all the readers and regular people, it seems like nobody is really convinced, and I wonder if it's actually going to like all this media attention and all this acclaim is actually going to help Motorola at all. I don't know. I feel like nobody bought the Moto X, even though I did.
I've noticed that to a certain extent. I hold all the keys to the Fandroid Reader's Choice poll, so I won't reveal anything about what's going on with Smartphone of the Year, best smartphone. But the Moto X is definitely up there in the user votes. But
I will bet you it did not win. I will put money on it that it did not win.
It is kind of like I think I don't know. It seems like. I think the immediate reaction, especially with people who are like diehard Android fans, the immediate reaction is, why would you choose the Moto X over the Nexus 6 kind of thing,
Yeah.
But it's the size, man.
Yeah, that's solid, good size smartphone.
They're honestly almost the same device, just different sizes. So I think the Moto X just appeals to more people.
Yeah.
You would think.
You would think. Yeah. When are your results for the Choice Awards going up?
Well, the voting ends, so if you're listening and you haven't done this yet, the voting ends Friday, the 19th. So the results, I think we're going to roll them out, not all as one big announcement, but roll them out each category one at a time over the next week or so through the end of the year. So that'll just be kind of an ongoing process. But I think we'll start on Monday.
Cool. All right, look forward to that. All right, so let's move on to some of our quicker news here. Uncarrier 8.0, T-Mobile. When are they going to stop doing points for these? I don't get it. Just announce new features. You're not a software.
I just think it's so they're so hip, is what.
Yeah. It's like, our carrier's got updates, man.
John Laguerre with his blazer and t-shirt.
Ledger. You don't want to get a nasty email from a reader about how you pronounce it.
How dare you? But yeah, so data stash. Tell us about that, Chris. You understand it, right?
Wait, I do? I don't. As far as I know, I just know the kind of the basics about it. T-Mobile is letting you do rollover. Who started rollover? I feel like it was AT&T or Singular. I think it was before.
Singular,
that was like minutes, right? That wasn't.
Oh yeah, they had minutes back then. Oh, that's right. It wasn't data, and you would roll over the minutes that you didn't use, which is that's so weird. But I guess T-Mobile is trying to make it cool again. They're bringing it back, but just for data. And it kind of makes sense because the data that you don't use, you get to roll it over to the next month. I mean,
you paid for it.
Yeah, but let's see. Starting in January, Data Stash will be able to all T-Mobile postpaid Simple Choice customers. So it's just your regular Simple Choice plan. It's not. I thought it was actually like a separate Data Stash plan or something that you would have to go to, because that's how it was back on the Singular days. So. You have 12 months to use it, so it's not like if you only use like 1 gigabyte per month, it'll just keep rolling over indefinitely. Have like unlimited eventually, but it only goes up to 12 months, and then after that, it just starts over again. So, but other than that, it's pretty neat. I don't know what else to say about it.
It's like we say every time we talk about T-Mobile. It's like, yep, they're cool, but at least for me, I'm not ready to switch to them yet.
It's like it's a nice perk, and pretty much everyone agrees. Like, oh, that is pretty cool. Like every single time they have these uncarrier things, they're like revolutionize the mobile, telecom industry. But it's just kind of like, well, that's a cool perk. Nobody's ever as like excited about it as they are.
And maybe
unless you're a T-Mobile customer. If you're a T-Mobile customer, you're like, hell yeah. So I feel like
it's like an issue with their marketing. Maybe like it's great that they're drawing customers with all these really cool perks, but I think maybe they need to pump more money into actually telling people, hey, our network is better than it used to be. It might not be the best, but I just don't think they're getting that message across.
I mean, I think the best thing that they did, or one of my favorite uncarrier things, was when they let everyone test drive their network for free using the iPhone for a week. That was really cool, but they completely pulled back marketing on that. I don't know if it's just like the the response wasn't that good, or what happened, but they just kind of.
Yeah, I wonder if the response wasn't good because it's a cool idea, but it's kind of a hassle to convince someone to go do that.
Yeah, for a week it'd be easy if you could be like, hey, just bring us your phone, we'll pop in a T-Mobile SIM, your number won't change, everything will be fine, you can try it for a week.
Yeah, that would be cool. Just give you a SIM, you can pop it in like your AT&T phone or something else. I mean, I don't know. And then maybe just try it out that way. But I mean, I guess the network compatibility is a little bit off. But
issue.
yeah, it's frustrating. But I mean, I don't think people realize that if they do try T-Mobile, like, because everyone is usually going off of what they had maybe like a year ago or even 2 years ago, and a lot has changed since then. And their network is freaking awesome.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say they need to do some of those commercials like who was it, Verizon or AT&T did back in the day, where they would like literally show the coverage map and have people guess like, hey, what carrier is this? And I don't remember how those commercials went, but I remember they were a big deal when they were on.
Yeah, they really should. I mean, all these perks are really cool, and it's just I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people just don't know about it, and I try to explain this stuff to like my mom and son. Oh, that's cool, I guess.
I think it's also, the mobile industry has developed so much in like the past 15 years, let's say, where early on it was kind of easy. No one really had a loyalty to anyone. They were just like, you know what, I'll go to the best carrier. But I think like this is my issue right now is I've just been on Verizon since day one of having a cell phone, period, not even a smartphone. So I just have like an ingrained loyalty where it's been so difficult for me to convince myself to go to a different character. And I'm sure there's a lot of people like that are stuck, that have been with one carrier for so long, and you're like, oh, T-Mobile sounds cool, but like, do I really want to give up this carrier that I've been on for so long? So I get why there's probably some apprehension.
The thing with that is too, since so many of the popular phones nowadays come out on every single carrier, like the iPhone, the Galaxy S5, whatever, even the Moto X, there's not really that compelling reason like, oh, I want this phone and it's on that carrier, I'm going to switch. Because remember how many people switched to AT&T for the original iPhone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the reason why I switched to AT&T when I was writing about Windows Phone. Verizon had crap Windows Phone. AT&T had all the best ones, so I switched to AT&T.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue that Android wouldn't even be as big as it is today if it wasn't for iPhone exclusivity on AT&T, because Verizon had to really put a lot of marketing money behind Android because that was their smartphone, So yeah, you could argue that actually led to Android being more popular than.
It's cool for consumers, like the whole cross network, phones on available on all networks. But it's like it sucks for carriers like T-Mobile who's trying to, make some. Just trying to get out there. It's just it sucks because I mean really it's like if you have a smaller network, what compelling reason is there for someone to switch over to your network when you guys have all the phones? They're already. I mean, I guess the pricing is a lot cheaper, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's also weird. Like what phone would it take to get you to switch carriers? Because I mean I've said it time and time again, and I think a lot of people agree that the Droid Turbo is a really great phone, but I don't think it's enough of a phone for even regular Android users to say it's worth switching my carrier if they're not already on Verizon. So it's hard to convince people.
I thought it was, and I switched to Verizon for a little while for that, but ended up returning it because it sucked. But,
yeah, and most people aren't Chris Chavez either.
Exactly. Most people are just like, I don't know. I mean,
there's really not. Like, there are not any super amazing phones that come out nowadays that make people want to switch carriers. It's just not. We're so far into the smartphones being so normal now, It's not like any Droids or iPhones coming out to wow people.
Yeah. Well, that's why they got to have data stash.
Data stash. On carrier 9.0 is going to be
I just hated how their bullet list, sometimes they'll separate it into like, what was it? I think it was 5.0 was also 6.0. They announced it the same thing. Like, oh, by the way, you're going to get $50 off of your contract like next week or something. That's 6.0. Okay,
it's like, okay, you're not real software. You could just have all of that in 5.0.
Stop this.
I want Uncarrier 8.3 or something like that.
T-Mobile 8.1.
Yeah, I gotta fix some bugs.
Jelly Pops. Like, what in the
Yeah,
world?
that's next. They're gonna start naming their updates. See, Apple named their updates after big cats, and now they're naming it after like beaches. Android is doing desserts. T-Mobile can name
would
theirs
do
after like
pink things that are the color pink. So like
Yeah.
cotton candy and like
there you go.
pigs or something.
Yo, gotta get that Uncarrier 10.0 pigs.
Pig cotton candy pigs.
All right, speaking of things that are candy, Lollipop is still rolling out to the Moto 360. Chris, do you have it yet?
No, it's just so frustrating. It's like
apparently
perpetually rolling out.
the original update that we were supposed to get Monday, I guess they like canceled it, and now there's a different update rolling out. So
Yeah.
frustrating.
So, I mean, in a way, it's like I'm upset because I didn't get that first update, but then I saw some of the bugs and stuff that people were having with it, and it was just like, okay, maybe I'm actually kind of thankful that I didn't get it now.
Right.
But now the new update's rolling out, and I still don't have it.
I feel the same way, but then I'll say that to myself, and then in the back of that, I'm like, I really want to try those gosh dang watch faces, and I can't.
I know. I mean, it doesn't really bother me until I see someone like on Twitter posting a picture like, "Ooh, check out this watch face," and I'm like, "Ah, you rat bastard." So frustrating.
All right. So Nest. Do any of us have a Nest?
I don't.
I don't have
Right.
air conditioning here.
I've been really considering getting one.
Yeah.
But so this week Nest got integration with Google Now, which is pretty cool because it knows when you're like about to come home because your phone knows your location, and so it can start the heat up, which it could kind of do already because it knew your patterns. It would know like about what time you came home, but now it knows exactly that you are on your way home, and you can also say like, "Okay, Google, turn the temperature to 70 or something like that," and it will do that. So.
Sweet.
That's pretty cool if you use Android and you have a Nest.
Yeah, that's definitely cool.
Freaking awesome. And that was actually one of the cool reasons why, I mean, like when Google bought Nest, people were freaking out like, oh, Google's going to know the temperature of my home. They want to know everything. But it was like, no, you could integrate it with like all these cool Google services and stuff.
Well, there's always the good and the bad.
It's cold, so they just keep feeding you ads like, do you need blankets? More blankets? Sweaters?
Like, it's so ridiculous.
Something I was wondering, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been a lot of Nest and drop cam commercials on TV.
I haven't seen any, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching TV the last few nights, and I've noticed a lot of them.
But that guy, the TrueCar commercial with that guy is on like every...
It's not that guy. It's a little kid, actually.
Oh, that's funny.
The drop cam one, at least, it's a little kid, and he's talking about how his parents are always watching him or something. But
that's crazy.
something I was going to ask, so Nest owns drop cam. Google owns Nest. Does the drop cam work with Nest? Like, does it use the drop cam to see if anyone's home?
I think I just saw something about
No, yeah, it does. Yeah, they do work together. It's kind of light right now, like as far as what they do. I forget what it was, but it was like it detects movement or something, and it'll turn on your...
Yeah, because I remember the original Nest by itself could do that, but, if you had it on a wall that was, like, not facing a common room, it wouldn't really do anything for you.
Yeah.
But if you had, like, drop cams all through your house, it would always know when...
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. It definitely does work with it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But, I mean, those are two products I wish... I mean, I'm still trying to justify a drop cam purchase, and I'm not really sure I need it. I mean... But I mean, Nest, I wish I could have it, but like in our apartment, all we have is like this little electric heater that just attaches to the wall and shoots out heat.
Yeah, I mean,
I
would like to have Nest, but it's just I've been renting, and I don't know if I'm really even allowed to install a new
thermostat. Honestly, you could, and no one would even notice.
Yeah, no one would know. You could just put the old one back on there, but
right.
Pop it back on.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's my thing too. I'm in an apartment. If I ever get a house soon, I would definitely consider it.
Yeah, I mean,
probably get like one drop cam or something just to have like in the main room or something. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, so our last little news story is kind of funny. BlackBerry.
Woo.
Can't remember the last time we talked about BlackBerry on this
Oh,
podcast, but they launched the BlackBerry Classic, which
some things in life are just timeless, like a fine
yes,
suit,
it looks exactly like a BlackBerry.
like a Lincoln. They're just
It's
classic.
really that's really the only way to describe it. It looks like a BlackBerry. Imagine a BlackBerry in your head, and that's what the BlackBerry Classic looks like.
They really should have got Matthew McConaughey to do the commercial for it. That would have been
Yeah.
that would have been spot on.
They say that you can't go back.
You can't move forward unless you go back, and then just pull out his little BlackBerry, and it's like, oh, Matthew.
To me, this is just BlackBerry is like they've tried a kind of crazy things over the last couple of years, and just like, all right, don't like any of this new stuff. Just here, it's their old phone. Happy now.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Or what they wanted 10 years ago.
And while they're shouting that, like, no one's actually listening to them because no one cares anymore.
Yeah. Sorry, BlackBerry.
I mean, this is the ultimate dad phone right here. That is the dad phone.
I remember that brief period in time when it was like cool. It was like hip to have a BlackBerry. Like in college, everyone was like, "Oh, got that BlackBerry, yo, got that. Hit me up on that BBM, yo."
BlackBerry isn't even the dad phone anymore. The iPhone is the dad phone.
I mean, I feel like it is, but there's still people that get confused with the iPhone. I mean,
a BlackBerry is like 10 times more confusing.
Yeah, that's kind of
whatever the free on contract Android phone is the dad phone, because my dad's got some junk Android.
That is definitely free on contract.
That's the dad phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my uncle. He uses he has like the old BlackBerry, and he will not upgrade to. He just thinks like those are all ridiculous. He loves his battery life.
Does he use BBM?
He doesn't. I don't even know if he uses BBM, but he's like, oh no, like I mean, this is for business. I'm a businessman, and it's like, what?
Yeah, talking about business.
It's got a keyboard. I can type out emails. I'm like, you can do that with a virtual. You know what? Whatever, man.
Yeah, man. You can only write emails on BlackBerry. Everybody knows that.
But his BlackBerry is so beat up. He's totally gonna upgrade to this Classic. I know it.
I got this sick new BlackBerry, Chris.
Check it out. 3 times faster than a potato. Can you believe it?
All right, so that wraps up our news for this week. Not a lot happened really, but I think we're kind of getting into the lull for the holidays coming up.
Yeah.
Which is good. I'm happy about that.
I'm excited.
So I guess we'll do our wins and fails. Kevin.
All right, my win is the Samsung Gear VR. I don't think I have to say anything else about it. It's really
you
cool.
like that thing?
Yeah, I liked it. Put it on your Christmas list. Put it on your Hanukkah list. Whatever. Get it for the
Dang,
holidays.
too late.
So Gear VR, love it. Oh, I can't believe I said that, but I did.
Such a Samsung
is getting in
fanboy.
touch with you right now about some sponsorship opportunities.
Such a Samsung fanboy.
What you guys don't see is like right off screen, a member of the Samsung Mafia or whatever they call themselves is holding a gun to my head.
When you just said that, like a bunch of our listeners just yelled, "Paid."
Hey.
No, Samsung did not even send us this. Fail of the week. And I heard through a new Sony leaked email that this is why Chris stopped using the Z3 Compact, was because of all these Sony leaked emails. But my fail of the week is that Sony has given into the hackers that may or may not be linked to the North Korean government and decided to not show the interview because of some threats of actual violence against people that went to see the movie when it opened. I guess next week on Christmas Day or around Christmas Day. So
yeah, I think it opened on Christmas.
So I mean, Sony's hand was slightly forced, not just by the hackers, but they gave theaters, I guess, the option, and a lot of theaters started bailing out, including some major theater chains like Regal Cinemas and AMC and all those. So
yeah.
So Sony basically said, well, no one's going to release the movie anyway. We're going to pull it. I guess, hopefully. At least I hope. I know most people think this movie is going to be trash, but I really enjoy anything about North Korea, and I think it had some potential anyway. So hopefully they do some kind of VOD release. Even if you didn't want to see the movie, I just would hate to see these hackers get what they wanted. By
Yeah,
doing,
you can't. You can't just let the hackers get everything they want. I mean, that's kind of negotiating 101.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though because they've hacked. I guess they're kind of controlling what information leaks. But I was actually just thinking about this the other day. We've seen a lot of leaks pertaining to their movie business, but I'm sure they have access to other stuff pertaining to their smartphone business and their other electronic business. So I'm kind of curious to see if any information about that side of the company will come out.
I don't know if you guys. There's been so much stuff leaked, but one of the things that I heard was leaked, which I thought was actually hilarious. Apparently, at Sony, there's just this mega document that has like all the passwords to everything. Just like social networks, logins for this and that, and they just have it all in this document. And they're using like no more security than an average person.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's like the document itself is just titled like master password list dot
passwords do not share. But apparently, like somebody sent it to Gizmodo or something. Like this, just out there. Like really, a giant company like Sony, let's put all our passwords in a Google Doc, and that'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, gotta button down on that security. But yeah, I think
Sony, don't you know how to use two-step authentication?
So I'm saying tisk to Sony for giving the hackers what they wanted.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, they could make a lot of money if they released that movie to digital, like on demand, because now it's like, ooh, let's watch the movie that was removed from theaters.
Buzz, yes.
Yeah, but knowing Sony, they'll somehow keep a master list of every person that downloaded and watched it, and then they'll have like your personal address and knock on your door and be like, "Did you watch the interview?"
I mean, what was it? It was Sony. It was a PlayStation, PSN or PlayStation Network. They had like 400,000 emails got hacked in everyone's accounts, and then now this, and it's just like, who the heck is running Sony?
They learned nothing from the PSN hack, basically.
These guys are so ridiculous.
It's sad because Sony is like one of these companies that was they were a tech giant, they still are a tech giant, but they don't seem like they've stayed on top of the curve as like technology has evolved.
I feel like they're either getting lazy or complacent or something, but I think I love the reading the emails, the email exchanges between these big executives is hilarious. They're literally writing this stuff like on their iPhone or like BlackBerry because like all the words are like, what is it, conjugated and all that. It's so funny, misspellings, and it's just like two little sentences. Like, I mean, it's not even, they don't have like like a signature or like any of this other stuff. It's just so hilarious. It's just like two people just chatting like willy-nilly about the next movie Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be in. Like, oh no, what's her name wants to do Cleopatra, and it's like, all right, let's do it. All right, cool, I'll tell her. That's it. That's how a movie was born, just like that. Like just two little emails back and forth. It's nuts. It's so nuts.
It's like the leader of security or whatever at Sony is like someone's mom, and you're just like, hey, we should probably turn on two-step, and they're like, nah, that's never gonna happen to me.
Yeah, he gets it.
All right, my win of the week is gonna be Pebble notifications. Got my Pebble on. Haven't wore this in a while, but the beta version of the Pebble app for Android got an update this week, and it has notifications with like Android Wear actionable notification support, which is really cool. So before, if you got a notification on your Pebble, there was pretty much nothing you could do. You'd have to go on your phone if you wanted to actually do something with that notification. But now you get all the options that you would see in like an Android Wear notification. So for example, you get a text message, and you can hit a button to reply, and it'll give you like a list of predefined quick replies or even emoji, so you can actually like send something back to the person from your watch, and you can dismiss the notification from showing up on your phone, which is probably the most important thing, because it was so annoying before if you got rid of a notification on your Pebble and then you turned your phone on later, all those notifications were still showing up there, which is super annoying. But yeah, I've been wearing my Pebble the last couple of days because of that update, just trying it out, and it's pretty awesome to be able to do that, I have to say.
The last couple of days, how many times did you charge it?
Once.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm charging my Pebble or my Moto 360 like twice a day because I'm checking for updates so often.
Yeah, me too. It's ridiculous.
My fail of the week is going to be Samsung related. I know, so predictable, Joe.
Dude,
So there's a rumor that they're creating their
Don't say anything until my check clears.
Yeah, sorry.
Easy.
Hey, I'm not on their paycheck, man. There was a rumor that Samsung is going to create their own mobile payment system, Apple Pay competitor, and just, I want to say, stop, don't, why? There are so many out there that can work on Samsung phones. Just use one. Why do we need so much?
They will.
Ugh.
If they can create their own, I mean, they're trying to create their own app ecosystem and I mean, this is inevitable.
I hear Sony's going to make their own payment system. It's going to be really secure.
Oh yeah, I'll use that one for sure.
Super secure.
They'll have a document in their headquarters with everyone's credit card number.
3% of your transactions will go to North Korea, to Kim Jong Il.
But really, I just don't understand why Samsung needs to have their own version of everything. Like, can't wait. It's going to be called S-Pay. It's going to be called S-Pay. Just go put money on that right now. It's going to be called S-Pay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Samsung.
All right, Chris, what do you got?
My win for the week is going to be, I mean, we already talked about it, but Nest working with Google now. That's kind of freaking awesome, and I wish I could buy a Nest. Like, I was tempted to buy it for my parents, just so like when I go to their house, I can just mess with it or something. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's gonna be my win. My fail for the week is gonna be, I guess it's kind of a win, but I think it's more of a fail. It's Inbox now supports Android Wear. So Inbox by Gmail is that revolutionary new email application from the folks at Gmail. And for some reason, when it launched, and it's launched a while ago, I want to say like maybe a month ago, it didn't support Android Wear. So you would get the notifications because every notification shows up on your watch, but you couldn't really like reply by voice. You couldn't read the entire message, so you just get a little snippet, and that's all you could see. Really, really stupid. I'm not sure why. I don't know what goes on at Google. I mean, there's a lot of really smart people and stuff, but these teams are just so not together. They're so like
they don't work together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's frustrating to see that. So I mean, it's just you would think everything's got to work with Android Wear out of the box. That would have been like one of their major launch features. But
honestly, I use Inbox, and I didn't even notice it didn't have Android Wear compatibility because I would always just swipe to the left and hit the done button.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh yeah, it works with Android Wear, but I guess that's just the standard notifications.
Yeah, so that's just mirroring your notification on your phone. So to me, that's just kind of a fail. So yeah.
All right, let's go with our app picks of the week.
I guess I'm starting this. Yeah. So I went with SimCity Build It, which has landed on iOS and Android. So this is the latest mobile SimCity game. But I'm a huge fan of the SimCity franchise. I love all those world building games from them, and The Sims and SimCity and anything like that. So I actually haven't had a chance to check this out. I'm kind of recommending it blindly, but I am gonna actually download it and look at it. But you know, when it's SimCity, in my book, can't really go wrong. So that's my pick. You can get it on Android or iOS.
Yeah, I used to love The Sims. Speaking of Christmas, I remember a while ago getting The Sims for Christmas, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was like my thing. I would play like those games on like my school breaks for like just the whole day in my basement playing The Sims.
Oh man, you could lose so much time on The Sims. It's ridiculous. All right, my app pick is going to be an Android app called Now Paper. If you've ever seen Google Now and the artwork on top, and you think it's cool, this app actually lets you use that wallpaper as your phone wallpaper. And this guy who made this app has actually made all the wallpaper by hand so that it can be used in like 1080p displays, even 4K displays. And he has a bunch of different cities that you'll find in the default Google app, but also he's added some new ones that he's made himself. And it's really cool. It works with, you can use it to just set a static wallpaper, or you can use it with the app called Musei or Musi. Do you know how to pronounce that, Chris?
Muse.
Okay, so then what you can do is you can choose location, and it will actually adjust the location throughout the day to show like dusk, daytime, dawn, and night. That's what I've been doing. It's really cool. There's a winter lake location that he made himself that I've been using. It's pretty neat. The app costs 99 cents in the Play Store, but it's well worth it if you like wallpapers.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now. I just realized I favorited that one or added it to my wish list a long time ago. Never pulled the plug on it though. My app pick is going to be Secret. So you guys remember Secret? It was
Yes.
anonymous social network, and everyone used it to talk crap on everyone else. And did we ever figure out how it added? I think it added people from your contacts, and if your contacts is like ours, you get a lot of people from the tech circles and tech sector, which is actually really funny. But it started out kind of like as a Whisper competitor. It was, just like these big postcards with like overlaying text. But now they're transitioning it. They're kind of relaunching the entire application. They've scrapped the way it works. Still anonymous, but now it's more like Yik Yak. And I don't know if you guys ever use Yik Yak, but it's really popular with the kids. So they're hoping to find success that way. And it just looks more like a message board. So just text only. If you do post a picture, it just shows a little thumbnail, like a little circle thumbnail on the right corner, and then you can tap it to look at it. But that's kind of pretty much it now. And now you can easily chat with people. So if you do find a post that's interesting or someone's trying to hook up, you can click it and chat with that person, and it still remains anonymous, but at least it's like a private conversation that you can have with two people. And then after a day, I think it just completely deletes all those old messages. So it's kind of an interesting direction they're taking, and it seems pretty cool. The old way obviously wasn't working because, as we know, we all tried Secret for like a good day or two, maybe a week. And then all the secrets got kind of annoying, and nobody was really posting anymore. And then they tried to integrate Facebook contacts. Yeah, and it just completely died. There's like very little engagement. The engagement that's on there now is just kind of ridiculous. People just bragging about hookups, hooking up with their secretaries, just a lot of sex stuff right now.
I left it on my phone for a long time, and I finally uninstalled it, but I might put it back on just to check out what's new.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh my gosh,
I'm going to be reinstalling it. It was so dumb. It was. I remember when it did come out for Android. It was like you said. It was just so much tech gossip, and I was like, "This is gonna ruin someone's life." So I just installed it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was funny because everyone just started talking crap again because like we're Android bloggers or whatever. So all of our colleagues are on there, and everyone's talking crap about other people, and it was kind of a big mess, and it imploded on itself. And Secret says that wasn't the whole point of the app. It was kind of just like, oh, my secret is I like to eat ice cream on cold days. But really, I mean, that's the lamest stuff. People want the dirt, and then
people want sex, man.
That's what they got. My wife and I just found out we are actually related, but we're gonna stay married.
Oh.
Like, that's juicy. That's what I like to see. But yeah. So.
And who knows how many of those are actually real either.
Yeah, and a lot of times people just make up stuff or fake internet points or whatever. But actually, I made up one once, and it was pretty hilarious. It was something about ass pennies, and everyone freaked out. It was the best. But
oh my god, I totally remember that. And I totally remember thinking it was you right when I saw it too. All right, so I think that's going to wrap things up, but before we go, I want to mention once again that we're doing a giveaway, and it's going to be over the next time that we talk, so there's just a few days left to enter. If you want to enter, go to Fandroid, And the very top, there's a link to Gift a Day giveaway. We're giving away a bunch of Nexus 6s, Nexus players, Nexus 9s, some smartwatches. It's going to be 20 prizes in total. The winners are going to be announced on Monday, which will be the 22nd, I believe. Yes, the 22nd. So make sure you go and enter every day so you can have a ton of chances to win. Also, you can send us questions with our email address, podcast@mobileroar.com. We got a couple questions earlier this week. Someone was talking to us about GIF and GIF again.
Oh,
I don't know
no.
if you guys saw that.
Yeah, it came back.
The war wages on.
I just want to say, I didn't respond to the email, but I want to say on the record that last week I said GIF and then I said GIF only because the guy that made the thing says GIF. I am completely in the camp of GIF. Like, I support GIF. I think GIF is the better way to say it. But I was just, I knew someone. I thought someone might call me out for saying GIF, but I guess I got called out for saying both things. So I support GIF, but I understand that some people.
I support GIF. I get a T-shirt.
I replied to that email. Team Hard G for life.
That would be a funny T-shirt.
GIF,
if it said, I support GIF, but it didn't actually elaborate on how
Right.
it's pronounced, and then people would be like, "Well, which one is it?"
That would sum up the argument perfectly because it doesn't
That'd be
freaking
awesome.
matter how you say it. So, and then we got another email address, email question from David Hollingshead. He's talking about the in Iowa using your phone as a driver's license, and he said that he thinks it sounds like a great idea, but he thinks it makes it easier for a cop to search your phone for things maybe they shouldn't be getting into because they get your phone to check out your driver's license, and then what's stopping them from flipping around and looking at other stuff.
Yeah,
Interest. That's a
true.
very super good point. Holy crap.
Unless the app was designed in some way that, like, once you opened it, it locked out your phone without putting in a password or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could do that. You could do it with Lollipop, just FYI. But,
Screen pinning. There you go.
Screen pin that ish.
All right. So, yeah, you can send us questions if you want us to read them on the air like that. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast, which is on Stitcher Radio, in the iTunes Store, on Windows Phone, pretty much everywhere else. And you can follow us on Twitter. Chris is at GamerCore, Kevin is at You Don't Know Kev, and I am at Tall Schmo. And we will see you guys again sometime, but not before Christmas. So everyone have a happy holiday, be safe, have fun, and we'll see you when we see you. Later.